It's amazing. It's amazing to me every time I rewatch X-Men The Last Stand, just how much I end up hating it. More and more and more. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I have been rewatching and reviewing all of the X-Men movies. I have made it to X-Men The Last Stand, which came out in 2006. It is not directed by Bryan Singer. He was off making Superman Returns. So, it is directed by Brett Ratner.
Fuck you!
And the plot. The plot is we see the X-Men who are teaching their young students at the mansion. Everything seems to be going well with the president. Besides, there's a cure. Somebody has made a cure for the mutants that will take away their powers and make them human. So they're while they're dealing with that, Jean Grey gets resurrected as the Dark Phoenix, so she's now evil. And if that wasn't enough, Magneto, along with his Brotherhood of Mutants, are launching a war, culminating with this battle with the good mutants, the X-Men. This movie sucks. It does. I know that there are some people who enjoy this movie, who love this movie, and that's fine. That's cool. I'm not even prepared to say that this is the worst X-Men movie ever made. I'm just saying that for me, when I watch it, I get so angry. There are so many things in this movie that I think are so dumb, that I think are so ill-advised, that I think come from a place of people who don't understand these characters, who don't understand the fans of the first two previous movies, and I just wonder, why would they do this? Let's talk about the resurrection of Jean Grey, shall we? Now, this was something that was built up and established even at the end of the first movie. There's signs of it, and in the second movie, she's dealing with her powers. She sacrifices herself, and they showed the Phoenix in the water. So it makes sense to go this route. It does make sense to have this be the main story. The problem is that it's not the main story. There's too much going on. There's so much going on that you don't really get the weight of Jean Grey coming back as evil. Xavier, they write Xavier to kind of be a dick. Mind-boggling to me because he's so kind and warm in the first two. This movie, you find out that he went to Jean Grey's house when she was a kid, which that opening scene of Xavier and Magneto from years ago, and the CGI over their face looks horrible.
What the fuck is that?
Wolverine and Professor X are going back and forth, and Wolverine's like, that's messed up, that's somebody's brain here, you're playing God, and Xavier's like, I don't have to explain myself to you, especially to you, Wolverine, piece of shit. It's like, why? Xavier wouldn't talk like that. Xavier would explain himself. Xavier would have a better reason. Look, I know they didn't want to do the whole alien thing. I know they didn't want to do the whole her getting possessed, and I get that. I do. But her being possessed or her being taken over by another entity is a lot better than just, oh, well, she's a ticking time bomb. This was bound to happen to her. Anyways, Scott Summers! James Marsden, who, look, I know he opted to do the Superman Returns movie instead with Bryan Singer, and I get it. It makes sense. If your director from your first two movies is going off to do a big Superman movie and asks you to do it, I get it. I would probably go over too, but it sucks. Bryan Singer, who wasn't even directing this film, kinda messed up a big, important character for the X-Men movies. Cyclops never really got his just due, never really got to that point where you bought him and believed him as the leader. So what do they do here? Because he doesn't have enough, James Marsden doesn't have the time to shoot more of the movie, which, who knows how much they really would have done with him, let's be honest, because they just so easily kill him off in the opening like 20 minutes. And I would have rather have just had him leave. Have him leave. Don't have a scene where he gets killed. Or at least it looks like he's killed. We presume he's probably killed. And it's a big FU. It's a big slap to the face of fans of the comics and even fans of Cyclops.
Fuck you!
I will say that because all of these other characters are being killed off, Storm, Halle Berry, is getting a lot more to do. She does become the leader. Seeing Wolverine be so hung up on Jean Grey, and I get it. he liked her. He found her attractive. I don't really buy the whole I'm in love with you thing. They really hit that hard. And I constantly think, dude, she was married. How did you fall this hard and fall this in love with her? Especially when you have Holly Berry. You have Storm right there, who doesn't look like she's talking to anyone. Like, why did we not go into this movie with Wolverine having a relationship with Storm? That would have been different. That would have been interesting. So sure, maybe Jean coming back would have been a struggle for Wolverine. You want to hear another thing that pisses me off? Rogue, Kitty Pryde, and Bobby. We have this love triangle where Bobby is starting to fall for Kitty Pryde. Why? Because they can physically touch each other. That's really the only reason why Bobby is veering off and skating with her at the mansion. And I will say that I like Ellen Page as Kitty Pryde. That casting works. She looks the part. She's a great actress. So that's one good thing that was done in this movie. Also, Kelsey Grammer as Beast. Great. He looks amazing in that makeup. He's just a great actor. He does embody the Beast that I know and remember. Seeing Rogue look at Bobby and Kitty Pryde, she never has a conversation with Bobby to say, like, hey, I'm really uncomfortable by how close you are with Kitty. No, she just goes off and takes the cure. Seriously, the only time we see Rogue in action fighting in costume with the group is at the very beginning in the danger room, where they're fighting off a Sentinel that we don't even see. We just see, like, his head after Wolverine cuts his head off. So she doesn't do anything as far as that goes. She doesn't... It would be more interesting. Sure, she can think about the cure if you're going to have the cure here, which is another plot that we didn't need. I don't mind her thinking about taking the cure and maybe even going to the facility, but she shouldn't do it. She should never do it, especially if it's just for Bobby. Her making a choice to choose hero over love would mean a lot for her character, and it would have meant even more to have her in that last battle.
Go fuck yourself, prick!
Ben Foster, another random appearance of another new mutant, Angel. I guess they felt like they had to bring in more mutants because of all the ones they were killing off or not giving enough screen time to. So Angel, we see him as a kid and cutting off his wings and him dealing with his father because his father is like a politician guy. And look, I'm not saying that there's not decent acting from that story and that there's not something that's trying to be said. It's almost like he's ashamed of who he is and he grows up to appreciate that he does have these wings and he can go out there and do good. So, yeah, that's fine. But once he flies off from the window and then we don't see him again until he shows up to what? To save his father from being thrown out of a window. And then that's it. He doesn't do anything. Why? Why include him in this movie if you don't have anything substantial or important for him to do? The Juggernaut! Holy fuck! I know Brett Ratner supposedly, apparently, I heard him talk about it where he saw the animated series that somebody on YouTube dubbed over with like some curse words and just to make it funny. And I've seen those. They are funny. But to take the moment from that parody of Juggernaut saying,
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
And then to put it in your actual live action movie, your first representation ever of Juggernaut, it sucks. I'm sorry, it's not funny. Oh wait! The Dark Phoenix kills Professor X. And this whole crazy scene where she goes back to her childhood home and Magneto and Professor X are trying to convince her to go to their side, and she freaks out and she disintegrates Professor X. Look, is there cool effects? Is it a cool shot when she lifts up the house and the camera pans around and she looks like death? Yeah, sure, it looks cool, but there's no substance, there's no feeling. I don't feel anything for watching the professor get eviscerated, especially because Magneto, who he's used to be Xavier's best friend, after he sees Phoenix, Jean kill Professor X, he thinks he can control her, and he takes her along and says, oh yes, come with me, child. Really? You think after what she did to Professor X and after all the history they had that you can control her? Magneto does some stupid shit in this movie that doesn't make sense, that's not in tune to his character. There's even a moment when in the big battle where he's he's bringing the mutants to that facility to kill the kid who has the cure, he launches a bunch of mutants first, calls them pawns, and lets them all get killed or shot at first. And like, he wouldn't do that. When Mystique sacrifices herself, jumps in front of the cure weapon, and she loses her powers, I couldn't believe they do that. And Magneto looks at her and says, oh, well, you're not a part of us anymore. See you later. He would never do that to Mystique. After all the years and history they have, how close as they were, they insinuated that they were a couple. Why? Why is he so emotionless? Why does he not have any feelings for any mutants now? Pyro, who joined with Magneto at the end of the last movie, he was good friends, I thought, with Bobby and maybe Rogue to a lesser extent. But this film, Pyro is just a dick. He's just a douchebag, and he finds every chance he gets to get into Bobby's face and taunt him, and then they have the fight at the end. And I just was like, where's the friendship? Where's the conflict? Why is Pyro just such an asshole now? Like, why is there nothing else there? I guess it's just, it was cool to see Bobby finally turn into Iceman for like 2 seconds. Look, there are decent moments. There are cool action-y moments. This film does ramp up the action. You can tell they have a whole lot more of a budget in the CGI and the shot where Magneto lifts the San Francisco bridge over. And yeah, that looks cool, although he probably didn't need to do all of that. But it does look cool. The battle at the end is cool with the mutants, and I do like the speech that Wolverine gives all of the young kids, saying that this is what we have left, and when they're on the field, we have to hold this line. Like, there are good moments with the mutants in that, and the battle is cool. You see Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, who just stands there during the whole battle, doesn't do anything. And then when they finally trick Magneto and give him the cure, he looks over the Jean and says, see, this is what they want, you have to do something. And so she starts going apeshit and disintegrating people, soldiers, disintegrating buildings, lifting up water, causing Armageddon, essentially. And then Magneto goes, what have I done? What did you think was going to happen? None of this makes sense. None of these characters are making sense. No one's really doing anything that makes a whole lot of sense. Wolverine has to be the one, though, to go through there and to kill her, and it's all this sad moment. If Hugh Jackman didn't play this well, Famke Janssen, even her as the Phoenix, plays it well. There's decent acting going on here. I just wish that these two had better material, had better, just a better movie to warrant their good performance. And then the ending, they try to have this feel-good ending where it's like, dude, we just saw Magneto and all of these mutants kill a bunch of people and soldiers and high important people, you would think, at that facility, and we're just supposed to believe that all is well and that no humans give a shit and that we all live happily ever after. Fuck that.
Fuck you!
I know they have the shot of Magneto slightly moving the chest piece so the cure wears off. And that's cool, that's fine. And I have to give this movie props for being the first Marvel movie to have an after credit scene with Xavier's subconscious somehow ending up into a twin brother's body, and you see Moira McTaggart who just... what? I'm ranting pretty hard on it. I honestly think it deserves a big fuck you. This was supposed to be the finality. This was supposed to give us a feel-good ending to a trilogy that could have been great, that could have ended off on a high note. And to me, it sucks. It sucks almost more so because when I do rewatch the first two, I feel inclined to finish it off with the last one, and then I'm pissed. I'm disappointed every single time. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of X-Men The Last Stand? It's okay if you don't hate it as much as I do. If you even like it, let's talk about it. Why not? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!